Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I'm guest designing for Paige Evans using some of her cut files, and I'm using the Go the Scenic Route collection by Paige, of course, and today I'm using the homeschool cut file. So I really love this cut file. When I went looking for homeschool cut files, when I searched in the Silhouette store, home and school as two separate words did not bring up this cut file, but together homeschool as one word did. So if you're looking for it, that's how you find it. Just a quick tip there that drove me nuts for ages. So you can see that I'm using the homeschool cut file. I've cut it in white and I'm going to back it in vellum. This is something I've been doing recently. I really like to see cut files on pattern paper, and that's because I know I can cut files in different colours, but quite often when I sit down to when I cut the cut file, I don't know what colours I'm going to use. So quite often I end up cutting my cut files in white, but then I don't always like them on a white background. I would prefer them to show up better on colour. So today I'm going for the super most colourfulest background ever. So there it is there. I have already splattered white paint all over it, and I have now backed my homeschool cut file in white vellum, and now I'm going to get that stuck to my background. So the fact that it's a white cut file and it's backed in white vellum now means that it will stand out so well against this very busy, very colourful background. Now, the reason I wanted to use this, this is a bit of a scary paper for me to use as a background, to be honest, but I just loved it so much. I completely fell in love with it. I could have cut it all apart, but I just felt like it needed to be showcased as it is. My two boys there are taking part in an art lesson at school, so homeschool, obviously. My little boy is only 2, so obviously he doesn't have to join in the lessons, but he just loves to be involved, of course. So he's there with his own piece of paper and a paintbrush, painting next to my big boy, who is trying to concentrate very hard and taking his schoolwork very seriously, and getting a bit annoyed actually that the little one is there cramping his style, but needs must. We had to do what we had to do during while everything was closed. So yeah, and there's another picture of my big boy to the left there, who's taking part in a live lesson at this point on the iPad, and I just love it because he's got his hand up, and it literally is. It was really quite a good insight into seeing how he is at real school. Obviously, as parents, we never get to see what they're like when they're at school, but this was actually wonderful because I could sit and watch him interact with his teacher, not so much his classmates, but with his teacher, and I can hear what the teacher's saying. And if she asks a question, his hand shoots up, and he was so excited every time the teacher came to him to ask him to answer the question, and it's really, really cute. So yeah, got to document those stories, even though homeschool was a particularly trying time for us. Okay, so I've got my homeschool cut file stuck down. I've got my 2 photos in place. I've put a piece of purpley or lilac-y chipboard in between the 2 photos behind them. I've added a large chipboard flower from the chipboard sheet, and I'm now just deciding actually that my layout could do with a border. So I have a thing for borders. I like borders around my layouts, and it was just bothering me that it was so colourful and didn't have that edge to it. So I distressed the edges and I'm going to stick it onto a piece of white. You can see that this is the piece of white I used to cut the cut file for a previous layout, and I'm just left with the outline, and I don't like to waste anything, so I have kept hold of that, and now I've trimmed out the middle, and now I'm just going to stick this layout onto that border, and that way I really have got the most I could possibly get out of that piece of white card. There's no wastage really at all. I'll even keep the little bits that I just trimmed out in case I want to punch something from them, punch some hearts or something. Okay, so that layout is now in place onto that white border, and even though I've distressed the edges already, I'm just going to fold them up a little bit more as well. Just use my fingernail to pull them, to fold them up a little bit further, just to give some extra depth and dimension, really. So I'm just sticking my photo onto a photo mount there. That's a piece of that's a cut apart, I think. Yes, it is. It's from a cut apart sheet. So I have just mounted that and distressed the edges. My left photo is not mounted, but I have put a yellow piece of ephemera behind it and offset it, so you can see it on the two sides, and it's the nice lovely bright yellow. I really am very partial to bright yellow. It's one of my favourite colours to work with. And we have got areas of bright yellow on this background paper, so it worked really well to bring it into the photo as well. So I've moved on slightly. Over on the right hand side, I'm building a cluster. So I've put some fussy cut flowers. They're from one of the floral Go the Scenic Route sheets. And then I've got two pieces from the cut apart sheets. They're kind of like frames. One says Life is Beautiful, and then there's a yellow one that I've just used as a layer behind it. Just up there, I've added a puffy Polaroid frame from the puffy stickers, and that says Every Good Thing. To the right of home, I've got a little frame which is the same colour scheme as the background paper. So I've put some white behind that, backed it in white, and I plan to put something in the middle there later. I've got a blue tag that's pointing off the page, and I said some fussy cut flowers from earlier. So that was that whole little cluster there. But then I ended up with this gap between the photo and the cluster on the right. So I just needed to fill that in slightly. So that was why I used the Every Good Thing Polaroid puffy sticker. And then I've just popped in that green heart on a white background it's a square shape. So I've just put that in. And then I have this fluency between all of the elements on the page. They all kind of touch each other, and there's no big gaps. It either needed to be a much bigger gap. So if I hadn't put the Every Good Thing Polaroid sticker there, I probably could have got away with that gap. But to be honest, I still didn't like it. So that's why I put the Every Good Thing sticker there in the first place. So down the bottom, I've added some little words from the sticker sheet that say big plans, imagine and explore more. So they all work really well for these photos. So that's good. Just putting my little puffy heart in the middle of my frame there. The frame says remember, and I say it's the same colour as the background paper, which is really cool. I love that. And I've added some other small fussy cut flowers to that bottom cluster as well. And I'm now coming in with the dots. So we have this, the sticker sheet, the puffy stickers. They're thickers, I think, but they're puffy. And they also have, rather than just the phrase thickers, they also have loads of other things on them too. So like the Polaroid frames. And they also have these puffy dots in all different colours. So I thought I would try to match up some of the puffy dots with the colours on the background. Kind of like a tone on tone or colour on colour method. So I have done that, but then I've got a few random ones that I'm not too sure about, so I'm going to move them later. I've just added a heart to the middle of the O in homeschool. That's a chipboard heart from the chipboard sheet, obviously. Down the bottom left photo, I've added a little ticket that says party pass. Well, it wasn't quite a party, but it was a bit. And then on the there was a couple of pen elements in the embellishment. So I've got one sticker and one chipboard piece. I've added those two pens to the right hand side of my right photo. So they're really super cute and obviously go perfectly with homeschool photos and cut file. So that's those. And then I found this sticker on the sticker sheet that said keeping it all together. And boy, did we have to do that during homeschool time. So I loved it, but it was too big. It didn't really fit anywhere on the layout. So what I decided to do was cut it apart, cut it into the three lines of wording that were on the sticker and into small strips. And then I could position them where I wanted them rather than have this big square or rectangle of colour. It was better in the strips. It just fitted in better. Yeah, nearly done now. Not a lot more to add, except that I wanted, when I first saw this cut file, what I decided to do was call the layout Homeschool Chaos. But then I just got carried away while I was making the layout. I forgot to add the word chaos until now. So I'm just adding that in. But I had to move a sticker, so I've just moved it up above the other two. And so I've added the word chaos with the Go the Scenic Route thickers, and I'm going to stitch through those as well, that you can see there. I've stitched through those there. And yeah, that is my layout complete. So thank you very, very much for joining me today. I had great fun making this layout. It's very bright and happy and crazy, which kind of summed up our homeschool life. Yeah, so I've really enjoyed guest designing. So thank you very much to Paige for having me. Thank you so much for watching. That was Nikki Rowland, guest designing for Paige Evans.